there's a new special out on Disney Plus.
All right.
That is the most violent content I think ever produced.
Yeah.
For the MCU, and it's a 45-minute special on the Punisher.
Yeah.
A character who has been absent from Marvel for a while until he was brought back for the first season of Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because there was a dynamic between the actor John Bernthal. He feels very connected to this character.
Of course.
And there was a lot of production issues with the first season of Born Again where they had to kind of reshoot it. And initially, John Bernthal didn't like the direction that the season was taking. And then after they got the original showrunner back from when he was doing Punisher on Netflix,
yeah,
he felt more into it. And part of the deal was that he would get his opportunity to write his own special. So okay. John Bernthal sat down with the pen, wrote what he thinks is next for the Punisher, and that created this special, this 45-minute Punisher special called One Last Kill. It's very violent. It's rated R. It has a lot of controversy surrounding it on whether did John Bernthal do a good job? Is this the right move? He's about to be in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
How does this make sense? How does this character, the way he was portrayed in One Last Kill, make any sense to be in a new Spider-Man movie? Was this a step back, or does this make sense in the overarching story?
You can't have the name The Punisher and be based off of the Punisher in the comics and then not allow him to be who he's meant to be. It's like having Deadpool and him never look at the camera or him never say a cuss word or talk about chimichanga. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's like, it's that same kind of feel of like, or having Wolverine and you never see his claws. You know what I mean? Like the Punisher from day one in the comics has been brutal. Even the original Punisher show, even in Daredevil, like one of the coolest scenes in the old Daredevil show on Netflix was seeing the Punisher in prison going through this hallway, just killing everybody, just taking everyone out left and right. And it's like, that is who he is. He's meant to be ruthless. He's meant to have no way of holding himself back. And he's meant to be broken and on edge and in pain. And
I think the special really touched on what you're saying, the characterization of the Punisher.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a character that deals with grief, PTSD, and anger.
Yeah.
And I feel like those three things are represented very well within the Punisher. Some people are complaining that there's not enough substance, that this is like awesome and it's really cool, but we're not learning much new that we didn't already know if you're familiar with the character.
Yeah.
And that there wasn't enough basically dialogue, that it was just like a really long action scene.
I'm okay with that. And I say that because I don't think you always need dialogue to understand what's going on and like the purpose of a scene. I do think that this special was primarily for like, I will say the dialogue wasn't the best either. Like I know when he was talking to the lady and she was talking about all her kids and I'm like, y'all all sound terrible. You know what I mean? Like I was like, y'all, you know your family sounds like terrible people.
Yeah.
Like you're this whole sympathy card you're trying to pull, but like the cutscenes didn't make sense. I was like, okay, I get it. This is meant to be like her being this overly sympathetic kind of woe is me, even though my family are terrible mobsters. I'm going to get back at you kind of thing. Like honestly, I don't even think we needed that much dialogue. If I'm being honest, unnecessary. We didn't need a reason why they were coming after. Why they were coming after the Punisher. I think they did that, if anything, just to appease some of the people that would throw a fit that there wasn't one. I think it just set up to show like it was meant to show us more of his brokenness in his mind. Like we live in a military town. We deal with military people on the daily. It is like we see them, like the effects of PTSD. One of the first things I ever did as a job was help out with a PTSD recovery group in town called Reboot. Check them out. They're incredible. Just a little Reboot, like combat recovery, like they help people through PTSD and things and seeing how it affects people in their day to day and how it affects them from getting jobs and how much like how alone they feel and like some of the scenes that he was going through in that, you know, like hearing his friends and not even knowing whether like someone was even there and actually helping him and like from wanting to take his own life and the whole stuff with his daughter and in the most messed up way, I should say, he is finally finding his path to do what he thinks is right, which is to keep fighting, but to keep fighting for the people that can't protect themselves. Punisher he is one of the best examples of an anti-hero where he's broken, he's messed up, he will do whatever he needs to do that he feels is right, but now he is finally locking in on the mindset of, okay, I no longer need to fight for the sake of fighting, I need to fight for those who can't fight for themselves. And I think that's what this special was about. And and he showed that so well multiple times. And did he cross the line every time? Yes, that's the point. He's not going to know how to hold back. So I'm curious. I think this is, if anything, setting up to have him in something like Spider-Man, where I don't know what their direction they're going to go. I don't know how they're going to approach it. I honestly think, my honest thought is that if they're bringing him into this, I think he's going to struggle with the idea of doing something to Spider-Man. I think he's, for some reason, is going to try to go after Spider-Man and have this whole conscience battle of like, is this right? Is this wrong? Like, what is, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like this tug of war of morality of like, am I helping people by doing this, or am I just being a monster again?
I think you gave a great explanation or a great answer to why this special should exist.
Yeah.
And that despite it not having that much dialogue, or some people complaining that there's no narrative, there's no plot in this, I think it excels and succeeds at giving Punisher his motivation, not just now, but in his role in the greater MCU.
Yes.
What does his character do for the world of Spider-Man?
Yeah.
He now has the motivation. You now can watch Spider-Man understanding why Frank Castle is doing what he's doing. And I think that that's a great thesis that you made on why the special should exist. There's a lot of conversation in general right now about format. Yeah. Right? We're going to get into it later with Mandalorian and Grogu, and some people saying it's a movie, and some people complaining about One Last Kill saying, why isn't this a movie? Or I wish this was a show instead. Yeah. It feels like there's not much meat on the bones here. Yeah, and so a lot of people are just confused in general on what should be a movie, what should be a TV show, what should be a special. And I think this works perfectly as a special. And I honestly can see there being more specials in the future for the MCU. Instead of committing to a whole TV show, how about we give this character a little 45-minute thing? Yeah. And that way we get to go deeper into their world without worrying about like, are we gonna hit the landing for the season of television?
And I also think it helps too when we get into things like Spider-Man and we're like, okay, who is this person? Like, not everybody, probably a lot of kids are going to watch Spider-Man. Not a lot of kids are probably going to watch Punisher. We don't know. But I do think it will help bridge the gap. Like we talked about, like, how does this make sense in terms of Spider-Man? The same way Teletubbies makes sense in our world next to Adult Swim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in the sense of like in the most real world kind of way of like, even though we have our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in this world, that does not mean that there aren't terrible, evil, bad people in the same world. Like, I think the worst thing you can do is over glorify a concept or like a universe of something. And then like, again, you put it in a box and you don't allow it to like have that groundedness to it. Making it clear that somebody as brutal, as harsh and as broken as Punisher lives and exists in the same universe as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, beautiful. I really think that is a stepping stone of getting to where like, hey, these two extremes do coexist. And I don't even think Spider-Man's an extreme anymore. I think he used to be, but like Homecoming Spider-Man compared to Punisher, extremes.
And I do think that one of the biggest criticisms I've had of Marvel, even early on when the movies were coming out, is they really try to make a lot of their stuff look the same. And part of that reason is so that when they all come on screen together, it all feels appropriate. That, we have Thor with Iron Man and Captain America, and it doesn't feel silly because across the other movies, we try to keep a similar style.
Yeah.
And so,
I kind of wish it was a little sillier, if I'm being honest.
So I've always had a problem with that, where I feel like, okay, well, if you don't like that one style, then you're not going to like a lot of these movies. But now, I mean, like you're saying, they're completely different ends of a spectrum, Punisher and friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna see what it's like with them being put together, and hopefully it'll all make sense. It'll be good enough. There's concerns about, okay, what do my kids have to watch? Like, is it gonna be like, I'm not letting my kid watch this Punisher show.
Yeah.
Are they now gonna not be able to enjoy the Spider-Man movie because I didn't let them watch this violent show? I'm mad at you, Disney. Make all your shows family friendly.
But I also think I don't like that. I disagree with the mindset of like everything has to be family friendly. I really do. And I think they purposely didn't put any crazy lore drops in this Punisher special to make it like, you have to watch this to understand Punisher. No, you don't. You don't. And most things don't need to be that way. I think there are like some pinnacle movies where it's like I think every single MCU phase kind of had movies that you need to watch to progress the story. While some were just filler, like Iron Man 1, you need to watch. First Captain America, need to like origin movies, you need to watch those. But like there's so many fillers where like you can watch them and they kind of help, but you also don't need it. Like you'll get that information down the road. Punisher is a good example of that.
My initial thought of One Last Kill was that, okay, cool, it's like John Wick, but in the MCU. Like, it's a whole movie of just people fighting with guns.
And I still don't even think that this special was the worst thing that even this Punisher has done.
Yeah, for sure. And so, and after accepting that, that like, okay, there isn't going to be a huge narrative here. It's not going to have like an ABC, point A, point B, place to where we start and where we get to. It does kind of have that, but it's very like subtle. It's very understated. It's not, the big 3-act structure that we know.
Yeah. And I think it just adds more depth to the story in the sense of like, until the last Spider-Man movie, death was never a fear. Mm-hmm. Like until Aunt May died, what had Spider-Man ever even lost? And like, was death even a concept on the table really? Like everyone survived in pretty much every iteration, everything was a save. You know what I mean? So I think bringing in the Punisher also sets it up to where like, it can be more real and more tragic in some of the storytelling.
I agree. Yeah. I thought this special was good. Do you want to give it a rating out of 10?
8.7.
Okay.
I really like. I truly think so. I think. Okay, hold on.
So you're at 8.7. I'm at 7.
7.7. I'll drop it down a whole point for one thing.
Okay.
And it's the scene where he falls.
A lot of people complaining about that.
That is the only scene where I'm just like, what was that?
A lot of people have a problem with that. They even came out and were like, no, this is not a CG shot.
It just looked rough.
The only CG thing they're saying that they did was putting Frank Castle's, John Bernthal's face on a stunt double that fell on there. But everything else in the shot is apparently all real.
That is the only thing. That is the only moment where I was like, all right, you took me out of this for like a millisecond.
Yeah.
I did. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. It just, the only reason I'm giving it a 7, maybe not something like an 8, is just because it didn't have the emotional resonance that I personally like.
Yeah.
When I watch a movie, the reason I love Superman so much is because it made me feel a lot of things. Yeah. One Last Kill didn't make me feel a lot of things, but it was fun to go.
The ending was very much, oh, okay. Like, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I said after it. It was just like, oh, that's it.
That's the Punisher.
All right. But again, it made sense as a special. Yeah. I don't think it needed to be more. I think if it was any less, I would have been mad. You know what I mean? So I think it was like, okay, it just added a little more. It felt like a lore drop. It's like talking to your friends and then you just mention, when I was like 4, blah, 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 blah. Like, so you're like, oh. Okay, that's literally that's how the movie. That's how it felt. Just felt like a random, just a little lore drop before going into the next story, which I'm here for.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is also be one of the biggest turnaround times between like a character showing up in more than one project in the MCU.
Dude, I didn't even know it was a thing until I just turned on my Netflix. I turned on my Disney Plus, and I was like, "What the heck is this? Where did this come from?"
And then just a month and a half later, he's going to be in a movie. So.
I think they're scared of DC, but we'll get into that.
Maybe we'll see.